Okay, we're just going to do a quick tutorial on how to fix a corrupt audio file. The way that files like this get corrupted generally are because the audio processor hasn't had time to finalize the file before, say, like a memory card is removed or the file's disconnected. So what happens is your audio data gets written, but none of the useful information about how long the file is or how many bytes are in the file is actually written. And a lot of audio editors, editing packages like Pro Tools, will need that information to open the file correctly. So although all your audio data is there, you just can't access it. So what we'll do is we'll look at a way of fixing that quite easily using what's called a hex editor. So firstly, we'll just open up WaveAgent, and I'll just show you briefly that this file here, which we're going to drag into here, is just not going in. WaveAgent has not, it's just got no interest in that file whatsoever. Let's look at Pro Tools. Let's create a quick session, call that Joe1, and come on, Pro Tools, behave yourself. Here we go. So let's create some tracks, 6 tracks in there. And let's drag that file in there. Doesn't want to know about it. Let's put it over there in the clip list. See if it likes it over there. No, it doesn't want to know. No. Okay, so that's really not. So let's have a look and see why that is. And we'll open up the raw file in a little program called iHex, which basically allows us to look at all of the different bytes and bits and everything inside the file. And I can show you what's wrong with it. Okay, so let's drag it into here. So there's 2 areas where we've got problems. Firstly, if you look at the way that these files are structured, basically you start off the file with an ident, and that's 4 bytes, and the next 4 bytes is a length. Now with a RIF file, this will tell you how long the entire file is, and that whole section is a chunk basically. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at the, in fact with this first one, the chunk is the entire file, but this is basically the bit that gets interesting. So this is a little BEXT chunk, and that has useful information about the take, the version, scenes, file names, etc. So that's the BEXT chunk. Down here is an IXML chunk, which has XML representations of useful information. And again, you've got your ident. The next 4 bytes is a length. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. A bit further on down here, we have what's called an FMT chunk. It's actually FMT space, but that basically gives you information about the format of the audio data in the file. It tells you information about the sampling rate, the number of channels. So yeah, that basically tells you the format, and your audio data sits pretty much right after the format chunk. So there's our data header, 4 bytes for the length, and oh look over here, it's all zeros. And here is all our audio. In fact, that goes on to the end of the file, which is a long way off down there. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to fill in a couple of gaps. We need to fill in this gap, and we need to fill in this gap here. So there's a fairly easy way of doing it, and what we'll do is we'll drag out our calculator, and the easy way to do this is simply to put your calculator into programmer mode, so you can see hex and also decimal. So we're going to enter it into decimal. Now down here at the bottom of iHex is a nice long number that tells you how long the file is. So we're going to throw that into here, which is 16446911456, and we are going to just place our cursor at the end of that little section of zeros because that's where the interesting bit of data starts, and it shows us that we've offset it by 8 bytes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 there, 5, 6, 7, 8 here. Let's go back to our calculator and we'll remove 8 bytes from there, and that's the result. So turn that into hex. Now that's the number that needs to go into here. But before we put that in, we must understand that audio files are what's called little endian, which basically means that the least significant part of the number comes first. So increasing order of significance is in this direction. So F8 is the first bit of number we need to put in there, then FF, then 07, then 62. So let's pop that in there, put the cursor there. Let's move that over there so we can see it. So F8, FF, 0762. Okay, that's that done. So we're going to do exactly the same thing now with the data chunk, which is down here. So there's our data identifier. There's our 4 bits that we need to fill in. So we're going to pop our cursor just here. Let's go back into decimal mode. Let's go and find that number again, which is 16446911456. Now the number that we need to subtract is this number, 6144, because that tells us how many bytes are behind us. So minus 6144, enter, 16446853112. Turn that into hex, 6207E800, and pop it into here. So let's go back there, and remember it's little endian, so we're going to start at this end, 00E80762. Okay, well that's pretty much it. Let's close that. Let's save our file. Quit iHex. Now, if I go and open up Wave Agent, drag that into Wave Agent. Oh, look at that. Likes that. Close that. Let's drag that into Pro Tools. Pop it into there, and look at that. We've got some audio. Play it.
You want not the one that came before this one. Yeah. Hope the weather's nice and. Hey, this is a. We're gonna.
It's working fine. So, ladies and gents, that is how you fix a corrupt audio file. There are probably many ways that an audio file can get corrupted, but that's possibly the most common type of issue you find is when the file hasn't been closed correctly, and there are a couple of values in the headers that just need to be updated, and you should be good to go.